WWE WrestleMania 37 Tampa is right around the corner. 2 nights again, April 10th and 11th. But this time, there will be a crowd, fans in attendance inside a big stadium, Raymond James Stadium, home of the NFL champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and former WWE 24/7 champ Rob Gronkowski, last year's WrestleMania host. Tickets are on sale for the Super Bowl of sports entertainment now. Very exciting. WrestleMania back in business. And this WWE Superstar has a big match in this big event and always means business. Tampa's own via Air Scotland, Mr. WWE Drew McIntyre. Thank you, Drew. Hey, when I read all of that, what comes to mind? What stands out for this WrestleMania to you?
Oof, lots. I like the Mr. WWE. That was pretty cool. Yeah, this is a big WrestleMania for a number of reasons. Obviously WrestleMania in general is our biggest event of the year, Super Bowl. It's what everyone gets excited about most. But considering last year and us bringing everyone WrestleMania from the Performance Center, the height of the pandemic, the only original content around, and something we're very, very proud of. We gave everyone that escape. And continuing to do so all the way to now, we have missed our fans more than anything in the world. As you know, our fans are our number one superstar. They create the unique atmosphere that is WWE. They're so passionate, and they've been deprived. And it's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm the number one person that's excited here. But the amount of pent-up reaction our fans are going to have inside them, that 25,000 in Raymond James Stadium is going to sound like about 500,000, and I can't wait. I'm going to have to compose myself during my entrance, not to probably break down in tears.
It's so interesting because it was so unique last year, and you all did a marvelous job pulling that off. Superstars, everybody, referees, staff, commentators. It was just such an unusual time, unusual event, and to see you guys all, men and women, all do that. And now this year, Raymond James Stadium was supposed to host last year, obviously could not. It was at the WWE Performance Center. It looked great inside there. You had a huge match, beating Brock Lesnar for the title. Huge moment for you, very emotional. And now you're mentioning WrestleMania, it's going to be back in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium. They're going to get a chance to host it like they wanted to, the city of Tampa and your home city, your hometown. What does that part of it mean to you?
Yeah, it's so cool. Like last year, everything came full circle. For me personally, this is, where I moved to when I was 22. It was part of Florida Championship Wrestling. Decided to stay here. I could live anywhere in America. I don't have any ties. I decided to stay in Tampa. This has been my freaking hometown. And last year I was so excited about the idea of it all coming full circle and having the match in Raymond James Stadium with my family all there from Scotland, with my wife there in the front row. And I think, that moment, like I say, I'm so proud of what we're able to do. But it's kind of nice this year that we get round 2 for the city of Tampa in general, but personally, Drew McIntyre, I'm so fortunate that this past year, it's turned out the way it's turned out. I've been very lucky to win the title twice and just kept busting my butt to make sure I don't have the title right now, but I'm in the championship match. Same situation as last year, fighting for the title, but it will be in Raymond James Stadium. I will have wife and family there, and I will, more importantly, have the WWE Universe there getting wild.
It's interesting because now this time you have Bobby Lashley. Wow, two tough guys that have extensive MMA and wrestling, amateur wrestling backgrounds. You had Brock Lesnar last year, now Bobby Lashley this year. You're trying to go for your title against Bobby. Wow, 2 big main event match types, and you're involved in both of those. What does that part of it mean to you and fighting Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, it's wild. It's funny, like last year and this year, at 6'5", 270, I'm the smaller guy and the underdog. Like to the physical aspect, which is interesting. It doesn't happen very often. But, Brock is Brock Lesnar. He's a made man, has been for years, huge attraction. And beating him, eliminating him from the Rumble initially and then beating him in Mania really took me to that next level. That it was up to me to maintain myself at that level, and I've been very fortunate. I've been able to this past year. And while I've been doing that, while I've been defending title and pay-per-view after pay-per-view, opening multiple Raws. Quietly on the side, Lashley has finally, started hitting his potential. All the pieces came together with the Hurt Business MVP, and he's been winning match after match. Other people might not have noticed, but I see everything, and I saw him coming before he did. Finally, he got to the point where he felt like now's the time. He didn't win the Rumble. He didn't main event Mania beat Lesnar. He decided to jump me and make a deal with The Miz. Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, got the title, and then Lashley crushed Miz and became champion. So very similar journeys. Different at the finish line, how we get things done. But the Hurt Business is all about getting business done, whatever it takes. So I'm excited about just the whole dynamic of the situation. Like Lashley is someone I'm very happy. When he's finally reached the top, not necessarily how he did it, but he's got momentum behind him. He's a fresh face on top. And with myself being on top for a year, it's a match that people are talking about, they're invested in. And it's a bit of a throwback. You've got two genuine heavyweights in there competing for the title at WrestleMania. So the whole situation, I love everything about it.
You mentioned throwback, and you mentioned how fans are invested in it. And now those are two big things, especially invested in it. And when you look at it, yourself, a Brock Lesnar, a Bobby Lashley, a Sheamus, you guys like to get out there and fight.
Oh, yeah. We love to get out there and fight. I was so fortunate to be sitting ringside this past Raw and watch Sheamus and Lashley go to town on each other. Lashley gets physical in there, but there's nobody that quite brings it like Sheamus. And I watched the beginning of the match and chuckled as Sheamus brought his offense to Lashley, and I saw something switch in Lashley. And then you talk about the MMA stuff, that came out full effect. Lashley's physical, but Sheamus will make you go to a different level with the physicality. And you saw it also when Sheamus and I had our first match and then our no disqualification match, and you're going to see it at a whole other level this Sunday at Fastlane. All I can say to everyone out there is, check out this match, and if you have a family member or a friend who's not quite sold to WWE, maybe they're a UFC fan, a boxing fan, show them McIntyre versus Sheamus this Sunday. It's going to grab their attention and completely change whatever they think about wrestling. Then they'll check out WrestleMania itself with the fans in there getting wild, the spectacle of it all, and the fact that we've got, here's a phase one of getting back to normal. Just check out WrestleMania. We're going to have a fan for life. You get those eyes of McIntyre, Sheamus right through the Mania.
Yeah, you two both bring it. Bring it hard and heavy, too. It is really legit. It's really good. Hey, I'm wondering with the fans, Drew, because WWE is doing everything it can to make it safe, to make it healthy, just to follow all guidelines. And you were involved in a recent PSA for fans, encouraging people, not just fans, to get their vaccinations when they are eligible. How important is that? What was it like to be a part of that PSA?
Yeah, I'm so proud that we're doing the PSAs to encourage the vaccinations. And so whenever you're eligible, please get a vaccination. That's the quickest way to get everything back to normal. I've been proud of everything the way WWE's dealt with this whole situation. When I got COVID myself, I was allowed to talk about it on Raw, which was great, and tell everybody the truth. Hey, I follow the strictest guidelines you can imagine. I don't leave my house. I train in my gym. I go to work. I come home, and I still got it somehow. Everyone else can. So we got to get our shots, and it's the quickest way, the best way to get back to normal. I want to go back to Scotland. I want to see my family. I want to see people in public again. We all got to do our part, and we can. So let's just all band together, get vaccinated, and get back to normal.
And there will be a lot more eyes. WrestleMania is always a huge event anyway, but there's going to be a lot more eyes on it just because of the fact that there are going to be fans in attendance. And what do you know about any just of the safety or protocols that we might expect for fans coming to WrestleMania this year?
Yeah, for a start, we have 25,000 in over a 70,000-seater arena, or stadium, sorry, not arena. And there's always been the strictest protocols when it comes to WWE throughout this entire pandemic. There'll be seating pods, obviously social distancing, masks will be provided, temperature checks, health screenings on arrival, the cashless concessions, and the tickets will be on mobile phones. And that's something I think everyone should be doing going into the future. It all starts with WrestleMania. So I'm excited that we are making sure health is the number one priority, but also giving everyone a glimpse at, hey, things are starting to get back to normal. Check out WrestleMania. And also just watch the fans some of the time. That's the thing I'm excited about. I say our fans are the number one superstar. I mean it. The spectacle of Mania will be amazing. The pyrotechnics will be amazing. The matches will be amazing. But you just watch the crowd. They're like a whole event themselves if you just sit and watch them sometimes.
It is. They almost like it's they take over a little bit of WrestleMania too, but it's part of them. It's part of WWE. The fans are so important, as you mentioned. It's so cool, and that's going to be so much fun. And I'm thinking for Drew McIntyre, yes, Mr. WWE, that this is cool because, hey, it's a short drive from your home to Raymond James Stadium. I'm thinking maybe you might even walk there.
I'll be tempted to walk there if it wasn't for my big match, but maybe I'll just stroll home with the title over my shoulder with an extra swagger in my step. But it's so cool to be so close to Raymond James Stadium. I literally can drive for 5 minutes and I see it. I pass it all the time. I was, disappointed last year, but we'll always be proud of what we did. But I'm so excited we get around to and Tampa, get WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe we could have like a little parade after you win the title, and we'll have you driving down Dale Marbury.
Yeah, what did the Bucks do? They went down the river or whatever. I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly. The Buccaneers. That's right. Hey, Drew, did you?
That'll be my first one. I'll have one after another, and then a few months down the line, we start. Everyone gets vaccinated. We start getting back to normal. I'll have an official huge parade here. I'll go back to the UK. I've got an open top bus from the top of Scotland to the bottom of England as the first ever British WWE champion, waving that title around in Tampa and in the UK.
How big a deal are you in Air Scotland?
I'm kind of curious.
Drew, I looked up. I looked up some of the Air Scotland, just trying to get an idea. And you've got to be, if not the most famous, one of the most famous people from Air Scotland. There's a cricketer, Ronald Stevenson. There's Sir David Murray, the chairman of Rangers FC. Rangers FC, big fan of Rangers FC you are, and their championship recently, so that was very cool. I think you're right up there. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I can quite compete with Robert Burns and William Wallace quite yet.
Oh gosh, no. Yes, Braveheart.
I'm working on it right now. But I've been so lucky. I got signed so young, and WWE is so gigantic that whenever I go back to the UK in general, especially obviously here in Glasgow, people kind of know who I am. There's not as much as you see Braveheart. Everyone kind of looks like me. Nobody looks like me in Scotland. I'm like a giant. I grew up thinking, oh no, but I'm an outcast here. Ended up being really helpful for wrestling. But pretty big guy, looked like I've fallen out of Game of Thrones or something. So everyone kind of knew before. But I'm really curious after the past year, how it's going to be when I go home. Hopefully, people are just proud and inspired that hey, one of our own was able to win. The big one in WWE. Maybe I should chase that dream too.
Oh my God! And win the big one again at a huge event. 2 years in a row at WrestleMania. That is so cool. And hey, no offense to Noam Dar, but you're bigger than Noam Dar, at least.
Yeah, I am. I met Noam when he was about 12, 13. I believe he saw me for the first time. I was inspired to wrestle because I beat up his PE teacher. It's for charity, let me point out. I wasn't just kicking his physical education teacher's butt for no reason. At a charity event for children in need, I fought a PE teacher when I was about 19. And we had his school was completely sold out in the canteen. About 2,000 kids were there. And I told the teacher, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to beat you up for real. And I beat him up for real. It was a good sport. We raised a lot of money for charity. And that's when Noam saw his first wrestling experience, was inspired to be a wrestler. He told me years later because I beat up his teacher.
You're inspired. That is such a cool story, Drew.
I didn't know Noam was there. I obviously knew I did the event. Felt mad because I was friends with the teacher at my local gym, but I told him, like, buddy, I'm going to have to beat your butt. I'm going to have to put on a show for these kids. And we did, and we raised a lot of money for children.
Hey, it was a win-win for everybody. Raised a lot of money, and then Noam became a WWE superstar.
Exactly.
All right, we'll wrap this up. I want to get you out of here. A couple of things. Raymond James Stadium hosted the NFL Super Bowl. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Gronkowski, they won. Very cool. Gronk, former WWE 24/7 champ, also hosted last year's WrestleMania. Were you able to attend the Super Bowl, or did you watch from home?
I watched from home. I did an event earlier that day called the Shaq Bowl, where we did like a special show that Shaq put together with a bunch of myself, Miz, and a bunch of celebrities from different walks of life. Like Tim Tebow was there, Nelly was there. obviously, a fun event. And then I went home and watched the Super Bowl with the missus. My favorite part was the commercials. I was racing home for those commercials.
Hey, did you beat Mrs. Team? I do know about Shaq Bowl, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun with Shaq Bowl. So much I can say.
Yeah, but Drew, did your team win? I don't know. Did your team win or did Miz win? Do you remember what you know?
Oh, my team destroyed them. It wasn't even close. Like, Tebow was on fire. Spice, absolutely destroyed every event. We beat them. It wasn't even funny. It's just like real life, like Drew versus Miz. That we absolutely destroyed them.
And that's why I didn't see any of it on social media from Miz, because you guys destroyed them.
Yeah, he stole the trophy off me at one point so he could take some pictures.
That's Miz. That's Miz.
What you call a participatory trophy or whatever.
All right, Drew. So WWE WrestleMania 37, Tampa, back in business. Tickets are on sale. It's also going to be available on Peacock Network. That's going to be very cool. And Drew, I'll end it with this. It was announced today also that Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil will be this year's hosts for WrestleMania. What are your thoughts of them? I know Titus is such an ambassador for WWE.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Titus, get that honor. Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan. He's from the area. The name's synonymous with wrestling fans of every age group, along with the likes of Stone Cold, The Rock, and Hulk Hogan, John Cena. Those names are always the ones. Ric Flair, the names that always come up. So that's obviously a gigantic name. And for Titus, he's the unofficial mayor of Tampa. You turn on any news station here, he's on it. He's either promoting something or doing some great thing for charity and working to make the community a better place. And he absolutely deserves that honor. I'm very happy for him.
And all that Drew McIntyre is getting, which includes another big WrestleMania match facing Bobby Lashley with MVP, Miami's own MVP, the Hurt Business, at WrestleMania 37 Tampa. Thank you so much, Mr. WWE, Drew McIntyre.
Thank you, as always, Jim. Appreciate you. And next time we talk, I'm going to try and be 3-time WWE champion, Mr. WWE, Drew McIntyre.
Yes!